May I now invite Mr. Noor Naqschbandi, Program Director, Private Sector Development, GIZ India, to come and share his experience on the Indo-German collaborations on innovation promotion. A brief introduction of Mr. Noor Naqschbandi. He is the Program Director, Private Sector Development, GIZ. He has been responsible for enterprise, finance, vocational education, training, women empowerment, quality infrastructure, and compliance. Prior to this, he was a director of the Alliance for Integrity, a business-driven, multi-stakeholder initiative to strengthen private sector anti-corruption capacities in the focus countries, Brazil, Ghana, India, Indonesia, and the respective regions. He was also responsible for the 10th principle of the UN Global Compact in the German Global Compact network. He is alumnus of the University of Erfurt, Pitzer College, USA, and the Hertie School of Governance. May I invite Mr. Noor to please come and share his experience with us.
Good morning. President Mr. Pradeep, Director General Mr. Prashant, dear esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I had to rewrite my speech after your 10 points, because if the President is starting with 10 points, at least half of the points I have to say something about it. And if you allow me, upon some of the points I just take up and say a little bit about my personal experience. First of all, before I start with the points, I'm really happy to be here in Pune. I'm coming in and out to India since 10 years, and I'm always hearing about Pune, but I have never been to this city. That's the first time I'm here, so I'm really happy to be here, especially as a German. Of course, you know that there is a community of Germans here, German companies, and just earlier in a small close discussion, Vikrant Ji told me that the Oktoberfest is also celebrated here, even with a Bavarian band coming from Germany, so even more happy to be here. So first of all, happy to be here with the residents of Pune. You started to say we have to make the next jump and small innovation. Yeah, you remember a company called Kodak, not the bank. They were saying at some time ago, 15 years ago, what is digitalization? Why should we, use digital elements? We have our Kodak good quality cameras. We have our films. Now, where is Kodak? Kodak is not there. So yes, the situation where we are right now, there is disruptive innovation. Skype, for example, is disruptive innovation. But what I always try to say in this context when it comes about, because you said one of the forces is digitalization, and that is true. And when I compare this country with my country, what is very interesting to see is that the people here often, at least, are much more energetic, motivated. Of course, this is also due to the fact that the population here is much younger than our population. But we should be a bit careful when it comes to digitalization. One point that I always like to remind is digitalization in itself, digital computers don't have moral. Okay, they don't have moral. They are not good and they are not bad. That's why our governments, we need to really look into this, especially also how our data is used. And as much as it is possible and it is good for our development, use these means, but never forget they are not in itself only good. You said innovation itself is great, but the whole prototyping is difficult. Yeah, here I would also like to say something. So what I would like to say in my 5 or 10 minutes is like some of our experiences from Germany and other parts of the world, what is important to have a good innovation culture. And I think one thing is the balance between, on the one side, flexibility. If you want to be innovative, you have to give the people space and they have to be flexible. But on the other side, it's also structure. So if the point innovation is the wow effect, wow, you found something, you need to also ask the question, how? Because just having a good idea but not knowing what the next steps are is difficult. And we don't have to come from Germany to explain to Indians what is innovation. You have the Jugaad system. I think it's a very good system which a lot of people in the Western world, including my country, are now looking into how can we do it. But I think, like always, it's somewhere in the middle. We need to take elements from Jugaad, be more flexible, but you need also to have the structure. You have to have a structure, and where you can also be innovative, even if it seems at this point a contradiction. With regard to innovation of government, since I'm representing a company which is 100% owned by the government, I'm not going to say anything right now. I'm coming back to this at a later point. So, what is important, maybe, in a nutshell, to be innovative, to have an innovation culture? First of all, diversity. Your country is pretty diverse and has actually, everything it needs. You have to use the diversity. Diversity is not alone, people from Maharashtra and people from Punjab. That's also fine, it's great. It's also women and men. You have to use the power that this country and all of our countries have, which is in the hands also of our women. They have to be included in these processes of innovation, because if you look into something which in my point of view is very logical, the best teams are the diverse teams. Because if you have one set of Germans only sitting around, they will most probably come up with the same idea. But you need to have disruptive people within the team who are discussing, who are finding new solutions. And especially in this context, I think, and here I would like to also underline that the aspect of including women in it is very important. Second point, education. We have been asking 2 years ago, partners of us, the Bertelsmann Stiftung, it's a renowned German foundation, made a study here in India asking private sector, public sector, what are the internal and external factors to have an innovation culture. And I'm just reading a few points and going to comment on that. Internal factors, internal meaning within the they found out, and people said it's very important, from a scale from 1 to 5, it was always 4.5 or 5, is innovation mindset, cross-functional cooperation within the company, and flat organizational structure. There were more points, but these were the 3 points which have been put on the highest level. What are the external factors that these people who were interviewed said? 1, availability of talent. 2, quality of talent. 3, availability of capital. And 4, and it's one important point that we have today, close collaboration between academia and industry. 2 questions were asked. First, the question was asked, okay, what is the important internal factor, what is the important external factor? And then the second question was, how is the status right now? And the first question, everybody was saying that's very important. When they asked how the status is in India, the result was unfortunately not that good. And one aspect, coming back to education, where a lot of your Indian colleagues, counterparts have underlined it, is the status of skilling. In India, how people are skilled, and I think even more important, how people are educated. I can only speak personally about myself. When I grew up in Germany in my school, it was good, and it is still good, if you said something against the teacher. If the teacher said it's like this, and you said, no, I see it differently, and I can prove it to you, you got a good grade. I have the understanding from what I hear and see in India, it's still a quite hierarchical culture, and we need to have, if you want to be innovative, a culture of failure. We have to say, yes, try it out. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. We'll find a new solution. And it's really difficult, and we see this also in larger German companies which are very hierarchical. They want to become innovative, but they cannot become innovative in the whole part of the company. In the internal session, I said it. They have a small group. They have in one part of the department who are innovative, who are wearing different things. They don't wear tie anymore. But everybody else is still in their structures. So coming back, it's the mindset, and it's also the education, how we are working with our colleagues, how we are working with our students. I have been saying about flexibility and structure something. I would like to come to the point and also finish actually my speech, which is most important for today, and give some advice, the close collaboration between academia and industry. You know, if we talk about innovation, most of the time, one area of the world which is popping up and people are talking about is Silicon Valley. And if you look into the Silicon Valley, there are a lot of pros, but also a lot of cons. One aspect why Silicon Valley has Facebook, Google, and so on, is a university which used to be a quite small university, the University of Stanford. And why are they so good? Why are they attracting so much talent? It is the collaboration and the cooperation with industry. They have their research institutions. They are working very closely. A lot of professors are part of the boards of bigger companies. And this is something, if we really want to go this way, we need to bridge this link and make it even stronger. And this is one aspect that we as GIZ have been doing in the last years. And we are really looking forward together with our partners here. I'm really delighted to be here, and if I see how Pune has been developing in the last years, it's great to be with this chamber here, and we would like to really foster an innovation culture together with all of you. And I wish all of you today, when I see how collaborative also the program is, a lot of good insights, and I hope we stay in touch. And next time I'm here at the Oktoberfest. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Noor Naqschbandi, for lightly touching on the topic of the industry-academia collaborations.